yeah, the reply we got is very positive, and I was just reading through that, which is obviously very awesome. But yeah, obviously you'll find out more. But basically, they have actually kind of a very cool. They're a game dev, and they actually have like it's kind of amazing. They own a studio that's made a game I've heard of even. And I'm not like the biggest in the gaming scene, but like I've even heard of this game, and I'm like, huh, that's insane. And it's just the owners like, yeah, I'm a massive StarCraft fan, and I want to help the StarCraft community, which is insane. So that's really sick. So I'll mention a bit more if it comes through and stuff, but yeah, obviously that would be really insane because they're talking about a lot of money, and if they actually were saying that they're not necessarily committed to what they want to support in terms of like, you know, in terms of if they donate a bunch of money, whether we wanted to put on extra season of, you know, the Korean Royale with it, or for example, we could potentially use it to up prize money in other WardiTV events. So that'll be an email I guess I send a bit later to figure that out and stuff, but that's obviously just very cool, and yeah, it's kind of neat. Dolvin Wolf, how you doing, buddy? Thank you so much for the 59-month resub. So good to see you. Thank you so much for not just the 59 months, but also the resub. Not the resub. The gifted sub to Amstellion. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Alright, guys. herO versus ByuN in this best-of-3 finals of the WardiTV Korean Royale Qualifier number 2. $100 for first place, $30 for second place. Again, shout out to OSC for sponsoring up the prize money for today's qualifier. Obviously, these players do qualify into the WardiTV Korean Royale, which is money in itself. And obviously just a chance to earn some extra for having participated in the qualifier today as well. And obviously gives us a little bit of a longer stream too by getting some extra matches to cast instead of capping it off super quickly or anything. Obviously, by making it into the Korean Royale event in itself, you're guaranteed $50, but every best-of-3 you play there is worth $50 as well. And on top of every $50, every position you move up in the group is worth, you know, between 25 to 50 to 100 more dollars as well. So money starts stacking up very quickly. You know, if you qualify and you go 0-7, it's $50. But if you start winning any amount of best-of-3s, that money rises up very quickly in the tournament. So it's going to be what's going on. As we have our game getting underway here. Marauder Concussive Shell opening is going to be our starting point. Just going to get a second and third barracks going into the main base. Again, those set as the Adept will shade in toward the natural expansion. Team Marauders and the Marine will continue onto that Adept. And just going to be working their way through that. A probe or two coming down towards the natural expansion as well. And Protoss, says ByuN. The recall away, you know. ByuN not impressed. Protoss. Ugh. Also, guys, worth mentioning too, there's a few WardiTV points that are up for grabs in this as well, so that's also a slight difference. That helps you to qualify to future WardiTV events. So there's a few reasons that this match is being played. Like I say, just maybe not the craziest things, but little things that add up. As the Marauders will now fight against the Adept, and we'll be able to get at least a single kill, but that's going to be about it, right? I mean, kill one Adept, we're now going to go for a bit of a spot into the natural. The Oracle will kill this Marauder. That's not terrible, though, because now the Oracle has used some of its energy on this side of the map. You know it's an Oracle as well. We are following this up with 3 racks as ByuN. Engineering Bay already researching +1. This is going to turn into a pretty nasty timing, actually. There's going to be a lot of power behind this. Our Oracle will move into the main, attempt for some of the SCVs. Drop a mule down on the natural expansion, another gas on the way up as well. I'm just going to be seeing the factory building up as well. So getting that factory underway. A couple SCVs, few Marines still coming through. Stimpack and +1 is continuing in, and just going to be seeing that blink starting up also on the side of herO. So all of that continues on out for the moment as we have the Nexus, the Forge, all of that continuing to produce for the moment. Our Oracle is going to be working its way up that right-hand side, and also just trying to see where it can get to. Again, +1 attack, combat shields. See a few additional Marines also on the way in. starport is coming up to being about halfway done. Two more gateways into the main base, and just going to get those set up and running. Just going to have, again, the few probes, the +1 attack. A couple of stalkers all on the way out. Again, just everything getting ready here as we have the setup of herO, middle of the map. Stasis ward, getting his blink on the way. Obviously, allows him so much more mobility now as well. So that's also going to be a factor here. Just being able to move around the map a lot more easily, as we'll drop a little revelation down onto a group of these bio units. And obviously just nice to be able to keep track of those a little bit as well, as one Marine gets caught in the stasis. That's perfect for ByuN, because that means you don't have to worry about that with the larger army moving out at a further point in time. That's just going to be nice and comfortable. Good revelations, though. The Oracle's doing a great job of providing vision here so far from herO. He's able to really keep track of this very nicely up until now, as our couple of cannons, the battery, all continue to produce on the side of herO as well. As our army will go and open up onto a set of rocks over here. It's just going to open that up, make some space. The Bioforce will continue in, and just going to be seeing the Stalkers are going to get hunted down over to that left-hand side. Bio now going to turn back onto a set of rocks in the middle of the map and just work their way through this position. Before sits out, just going to see a few Stalkers are going to come for a little bit of a move forward. We're going to see a Marauder already going down, so nice catch there. Here is ByuN then. What can we do? I mean, that one Immortal is kind of in the middle of nowhere. That would have been a moment if ByuN moved in to catch that Immortal perhaps before it gets towards a battery or anything. We actually just go forward with a few Marines. Kind of like just testing the waters. The force fields actually kind of hurt the Zealots, which do not have charge. Without charge, do we not feel like that's engageable? I feel like that's something we could have maybe fought without charge. I guess it's obviously dangerous. You commit in, and then they pull back the battery, and it feels like you're not gaining much, but definitely felt like something of an opportunity. That charge is done. Hero's going to turn this defense into offense. And now we're going to get tested on ByuN's side of things as to whether he's got enough here, and he does. He loses a few SCVs, using those to just buffer at the front and make sure he doesn't get overwhelmed. Is a very important part of what he's doing. And now there's Bioforce. Well, going to continue to kite backwards. Widow Mines will go off. A couple of Zealots already getting busted down, and I mean, a lot of Zealots end up dropping here. Uh-oh, this is a bad recall because you're going to lose. No, how do we not get the Immortal? I feel like he moved and he didn't get the final round of shots off. I think he was super eager to start chasing the units that weren't in the recall, and because of that, let the Immortal get away. Maybe not the biggest of deals. It was obviously pretty nasty for herO anyways. He lost a lot of stuff there. Just maybe a little bit of potential missed out on by ByuN, unfortunately. Nexus sets up in the front, and a few Zealots coming around. Just going to be seeing a Marauder going through as well. Our Bio will continue to come in, and just going to see a chunk of these Zealots going down, so they will all get picked off. Now a couple of Zealots are going to run through into the natural expansion as well. In they go. Prism in the main base will swipe up a few Marines, the Ghost, and everything else. A couple of Widow Mines potentially to come through onto the ramp and see what they might be able to do next as the Zealots continue through. Actually, you obviously get the Prism, which is very nice because you do not want to have to keep turning back around to deal with this. ByuN's supply right now looks good, but he's about to face Colossus, so it's at that stage where his supply is good, but he doesn't really have the tech in his army necessary to truly take an engagement against herO. So he has to wait up for a few more of the Vikings. I mean, the initial round and Ghost coming out is nice, but yeah, the few Vikings are kind of becoming a necessity because we're already on more or less 3 Colossi from herO. He's got 2, the third one's about to pop. Extended Thermal Lance is being done. It's very difficult to justify running into that army, even with just a couple of good EMPs or so. Medevacs load up, and they're going to boost out over to top side of the map, where initially they will go after and kill off a Pylons. Just going to knock that down. as a starting point here. Stalkers blink in. Marauder goes down. Now a couple of Zealots will get picked away as well. And just going to see a few Stalkers are still moving across over to the right-hand side. Now Bioforce coming back over, going after this Zealot as well. And a few more Zealots are going to continue to move down this left side also. Here are Colossi that are making their way into the bottom. So now it's herO once again. You have to be in the defender for a little bit. It's just hit that kind of point where he feels like it's time for him to be the aggressor. He's got the Colossi to help him out with this. The shield pops up from the sentries. And in we go. Bio starts to stim. Vikings in the sky. One EMP goes down. Just going to be seen how our Vikings continue to chase and going after a Colossus. And Colossus drops. We're going to see another Colossus. Taking a lot of shots here as well, but it's not enough, man. And are we going to get killed for Colossus? Here we get them both in the recall. My goodness, how did they both die? Oh, I thought herO was like, he's running out of units. I was like, okay, this isn't good. But then the recall, obviously not enough. And herO's army is just melting. There's no other way to put it. Like, his army is just not standing up at all against this Terran force repeatedly. And part of that's due to him being the aggressor in these trades. But yeah, ByuN's taking some very good engagements. Now going to split his force a bit as well. When you've just lost tech like this and you're kind of running on less units than before, now is a very difficult point in time to suddenly figure out how you're going to split this army, have the right amount of splash in every possible location. ByuN to the left side is going to find the Robo facility already, so there goes the Disruptor production. Potentially the Robo Bay as well to slow down further Disruptors from starting up too. He dove up that ramp as well. ByuN just going everywhere, and he's going wild. He's killed off all the Disruptors. He stopped a lot of the Disruptor production as well. It feels as though ByuN's got this game under control. As he kites back and away, Widow Mines continue to go off. A few more Zealots are dropping. The Stalkers blinking once again. You'll see a bit of this Bioforce coming back over into the center. And the Disruptors will fly. A couple more Marauders and Marines going down. It's another nice Disruptor shot and a few units on the south side as well. And this is just an army of herO that will not stop moving through. Vikings going down, Medivacs pulling back. Widow Mines are going to connect, but, I mean, ByuN has just got too much. As herO chases, eventually he's going to realize that chasing was maybe not... I mean, it wasn't bad to chase, don't get me wrong, but he doesn't have a lot left as ByuN. I mean, ByuN's got units that just need to pour out of the production structures or show up from wherever the hell they might be. He's got a lot of mines, I guess, that are not necessarily immediately in the fight until herO moves into a certain location. But the Widow Mine Warping Stalker will be taken out almost immediately. And in fact, loading up, just going to see a few additional Stalkers on the way through. More probes coming in. I'm just going to be seeing our army of ByuN still pushing through the center. Well, ByuN was in a really good position, and this did kind of go quite badly wrong for him. He lost a lot. And it felt like at first, I was like, well, he's denying the Disruptors, he's denying the production. The chase down actually did do a lot for herO, even if at some point it felt like too much. It's hard for herO to identify when that too much is going to be until it happens, right? So very difficult to really criticize that at all. As Medivac goes down, it was dropping a Widow Mine. Oh, well, it was meant to go down. It might still go down if the Stalkers have another blink, which they should in a second. We're actually going to start chasing over here. The Stalkers blink just after the Medivac dies, but not going to matter. The Widow Mine bottom left just killed 4 probes. And now a Liberator will try and get some additional worker kills just to keep adding this up. Well, this fight breaks out, and ByuN's going to come running back. I do not feel like herO has the sturdiness in this army still, though. He doesn't have the Zealot count to really keep this going. Two more probes going down, so ByuN continue to deal some damage while he takes a bit. I mean, he's just got so much more army supply. You'd imagine at some stage this is just going to be ByuN looking very comfortable. Disruptor shot was something that ByuN's already moving away from, so that was not a problem. So let's go for a little bit of a charge forward. Bio going to fight a couple of ghosts fighting back. EMP onto a group of those Zealots. Just going to see our Stalkers trying to get these Medivacs. ByuN is just struggling to close out what has been still a heavy lead for himself. ByuN loading up to the top and just going to be having our Gateways Disruptor on the way out. Going to go pushing the bottom left-hand side. This Disruptor gets a reasonable shot off, honestly. A bit of Marine Marauder getting caught in that. And, well, we hit the bottom left. Knock down a pylon here. Oh, it's only Disruptors really showing up. Okay, there's a few Zealots and stuff, but we lift up. We could probably just unload and fight this. It's 3 Zealots. I guess there are units coming from the other direction, but they get eaten up by a Widow Mine to start, so they're going to be low on shields. Pushing the top side at the same time. Continue to chase after Disruptors here, doing what we can. Of course, retreating yet again. How is ByuN constantly so far ahead on army and unable to look convincing in any of these fights? He just keeps getting pushed away. Now he's going to go after the Disruptors. He doesn't get the other one in time. The SCV's having to pull to soak up Stalker shots. Now, we've got a counterattack, don't get me wrong. There's stuff going on for ByuN elsewhere on the map. But where is the... like, why does he not have all these armies, man? Like, what's going on? The Zealots continue through. SCV's taking damage. It's going to be seeing a few more Marauders still going down. Our Bioforce continues through, and these probes just getting picked away at. "32 dead probes for herO. I mean, obviously that drop's still not being dealt with, really. As ByuN finally, I think, is getting some units out to kind of stabilize a little. Oh, this is not being dealt with at all. These Stalkers blink on top of it. They might get the Medivacs, which obviously should eventually shut this down. But they're still doing some damage. The Ghost Snipe goes off on the Zealot. A few probes are dropping. Even the last couple of Zealots that are going to run in here are going to have a bad time. The upgrades actually evened out. I thought ByuN was already on his +3, but it's not quite finished yet. When it does finish, that'll obviously be a nice little bonus to have. Dropping EMPs into the bottom corner and just going to be seeing this Bioforce kiting back. There's a Widow Mine there. That Widow Mine just couldn't decide what to go on. I don't know if ByuN was manually retargeting, so it didn't go off on the Zealots that were on top of his bio, but he will now clean out this bottom left base. This has been a horrendous amount of effort from ByuN, considering, like I say, the position he was in just felt like this should have been so much easier than it was. Not going to complain. It's been fun to cast a longer game. It's been a day of quick games so far. I was just going to see our Stalkers, our Zealots continue to work on through. 7 more probes in trouble here. I think we're just going to have ByuN finally with a catch on this army. I mean, okay, maybe not a catch. The Stalkers begin to run away. There's a mine that will get rid of one of them, and we Marauder stim after a few of the other Stalkers. herO will warp in anything he can get. It's just not really enough. But then, it doesn't feel like he's had enough this entire game. Maybe there's another miracle still in his back pocket. Find a way to survive just that little longer as our super battery will fade away. Fire Force out over the left-hand side, just going to be having an army that should not be stoppable, but herO will counterattack once again. Zealots on the right, everything else on the south. If there's a way for herO to win this, maybe it is by causing some amount of crazy base trade. ByuN turns around! Stalkers recall instantly. He already got units over here pretty quickly to deal with the Zealots. Loses 10 SCVs. ByuN's now turned around again. It's a short map, so rotating from one side to the other doesn't take too long. In the end, herO gives it up. ByuN will take map 1. But Jesus, that was right-hand corner. The blue Terran player from the Shopify Rebellion. It is ByuN up 1. It's just a best-of-3 final again, guys. I'll reiterate that the main point of today is qualifying. And these players have already done that. This is a battle over some prize money. So just a best-of-3 final instead of what you might sometimes expect to be a best-of-5 or so instead. Aussie bottom left will be herO. And he's got a probe coming across the map to spot a bit of what's going on in this Terran base. Try to confirm there's a barracks. Whether there will be a barracks. This is a very early probe, so it's one of those that is... It's the anti-Wardy probe, man. You send this probe across the map, and I'm already so tilted I'm not going to do my build properly, I can tell you that. I hate having to have a worker off the mineral line chasing it down. But of course, on the Protoss side, it's a super early scout, just going after the pylon. So you're giving up a lot of economy to get guaranteed scouting. It guarantees that your opponent can't hide the barracks anywhere, because you will be there to see when the barracks goes down or not, right? And so you're immediately going to be able to check the nearby locations to check if it's a fake proxy or to know whether it's a real proxy. So it's just not really... Yeah, it's just not really worthwhile. There's SCV in our probe. continue to dance around the main. So yeah, it's not really worthwhile to then hide the barracks anywhere or anything, because the pro is just going to be onto you so quickly. Ooh, we pulled some extra SCVs to try and get the kill on the probe. Oh my goodness. We're going to have a showdown here. The SCV going for the flank around the top side of the probe. Going to get hunted. It's regenerated some HP though, so it's back to health. Ah, ByuN! He's so desperate to kill the probe! It's the biggest SCV pull of all time. He's desperate. herO asks him, what the hell are you doing? And ByuN just laughs in his face. You thought that probe was going to get out of here? I don't think so. That was absolutely not worthwhile for ByuN. That was absolutely terrible. herO says GG. That was so not worthwhile. Alright guys, ByuN's laughing, these guys are having some fun chattering. And yeah, always good to see them having fun while playing some games. And yeah, ByuN just complaining about Protoss, I think, man. Yo, what's up, Gromsago? How you doing? You watched the Inno Gaming cast a few days ago. Thanks to the cast, and you're so glad Inno returned. Hell yeah, man! I'm excited too. I'm excited to get some more of his games. Hopefully, he keeps signing up. I'm kind of hoping he low-key signs up tomorrow, last qualifier, etc. That'd be cool to see him give it a go. Then again, I'm kind of hoping he doesn't, because I feel like I'm gonna have a really hard time picking invites. If everyone signs up tomorrow, I'm gonna feel so bad when I have to invite someone. Oh, yeah. Alright, Zealot and Stalker just gonna go and ping their way, as we do have some initial pressure here out of heroes coming across the map and dealing some damage. Hellion gonna get out and actually is gonna be able to run across the other side to try and scout. As herO, well, he's on the Robo again, right? So he's kind of doing what we've seen herO doing a lot throughout the qualifiers, which is just Robo, and not quite 3-gate though, right? It's just gonna be 2 gates Robo and a very fast Robo base. So just a different variation of his Robo-based openers. This is gonna be very fast Colossi most likely, and just rush straight into those unless he goes like Prism Speed Disruptor Drop. I would say fast Colossi is absolutely more likely. I'm pretty sure that's what he did the other day off of this. The Prism is obviously pretty natural to get because you've just got the Robo. It provides you so much possibility, so much potential. You may as well build the Prism. Like, it would be silly not to build the Prism in these kind of scenarios with this kind of a build. If he actually builds a Disruptor and a freaking Prism Speed, I mean, it's lined up to do that. Right, the Prism finishes as the Robo Bay ends. Disruptor and Prism Speed, yeah? We actually gonna do it? Okay, herO. And he's gonna go for the Disruptor at least. Maybe not the Prism Speed just yet. The Prism is sighted, that's not a surprise. And the Disruptor Chrono Boost now as these Marines finally unload. I mean, this is a suicide mission really for these Marines, as obviously they have come forward and the Medivac was already kind of taking damage going in. He's gonna be able to target down quite a few probes. 7, 8 workers going down. Make it 9, make it 10. Nice and even. And he did see the Disruptor pop out as well, right? He was right next to it when it spawned, so he should have that information on his little notepad as well. Say, okay, he's building Disruptors. Something else good for me to know about is now Prism Speed begins, and I feel like herO is meant to start that earlier. Generally, you just start with the first Disruptor and you get Prism Speed ASAP. Now, obviously, it feels as though you've maybe forgotten it because you were kind of trying to deal with that drop or so on. There's a couple of extra Stalkers warp in, but these are unupgraded Stalkers, so they're just kind of sheer firepower at the front with the Disruptor in the Prism to support. Against slow Marines can obviously be very deadly. Disruptor shot fires Marines. Do manage to get a pretty good split off, but we need this tank to come in big for this defense against these Stalkers. Just needs to siege it up, really. I mean, again, these Stalkers don't have blink or anything. A tank really does belong to defend. The Raven run across the map is going to find 4 probes, so is already doing damage to make up for the SCVs that were just lost. That's a pretty big W as well. Disruptor shot comes through. Siege tank goes down. A few SCVs go down. As the Viking chases, wants to get on top of that Prism. No! Viking doesn't get there. Prism does survive. Well, we're still losing more probes. The Raven is obviously still putting some auto turrets to work out across on the other side of the map. It's just coming through and getting rid of a few more probes on that. Our Disruptor shot will fire in. And a few of these SCVs continuing to go down as well. Two Stalkers will go after the Raven. And, yeah, just going to knock that down straight away. Disruptors will fire through. A couple of SCVs already going down. Just going to have that Viking pulling out to chase the Prism away. So again, push that away out the right-hand side. Get it chased all the way down there. A Refinery going to set up on the natural, but that Disruptor finding the Cyclone. Hey, you got to look for every opportunity you can get, right? If that Cyclone's just sat there, you take it, bro. You get rid of that thing. Obviously, Prism will continue to send these units around, but it is low HP, the Prism, so you're going to have to be very careful. You know, a moment of not paying attention can be very costly in this scenario, so definitely something to kind of watch out for. Disruptor shot fires. Marine and an SCV will go down. The siege tank firing up a little bit of a storm onto a couple of those disruptors. Not really going to find anything too crazy from this, as that Prism now moves back across to the right-hand side. Gets ready to dive towards the main. Because, yeah, Disruptor still sitting beneath the Prism. Let's see, a couple of Disruptors going to fire in again. They're all going to connect, and that's a siege tank going down. Our Bioforce chasing forward. Wants to catch these Disruptors, splits away. A few Marines, unfortunately, will end up on top of the Disruptors. Obviously, Marauders a bit more effective in that scenario as herO continues to try and bully in this position. Again, every time herO's recalled today, I feel like ByuN has been there to grab a couple of units. And gets a Disruptor this time around, so worth the stim forward. ByuN making the most of every possible opportunity, it seems like, so far in this best of 3. I feel it's actually doing a pretty great job of just keeping things as active as possible and busy. Now have Stalkers and Prism coming up this right-hand side. It's going to be seen like SCVs are going to move across in towards the third base. And as these Stalkers jump up in towards the main, they're going to get rid of a Marauder. A few Marines work their way through a ton of probes. Disruptors firing, and, well, Disruptors taking a whole bunch of damage. You got a few Marines are going to turn around as well. A Pylon taking some damage. Our tank will fire. Some Stalkers continue to go down. That Prism is super low HP, by the way. Super low and dead. It goes down too. ByuN with a good catch at the end. And now 22 dead probes and a lot of dead units. The gateways are being depowered too, so it's going to be trouble upon trouble here from herO, as ByuN is looking very good for potential 2-0 in this finals. Disruptor shot up the ramp, but the Marines are long gone. Well, they're not long gone, but they were in the process of leaving, so Disruptor won't connect. The Marines were just trying to decide where they actually wanted to go to. Will now target fire one more probe down in the natural. And that will be the end of this drop, but yeah, herO is in trouble, and yeah, he held on for a long time in that last game from a situation, I guess, somewhat similar to this, but we'll see if he can work some magic again. Fire Force comes through, going to get rid of a chunk of those Stalkers, and just going to be seeing the Marauders and the Marines continue to take some damage as well. We come through for one more Stalker, just continuing across the rest of the Stalkers. Is there any defense available for herO? He's on Stalkers and 2 Disruptors. One Disruptor just died coming from the third base. I mean, obviously not great. The fact that he's split across multiple bases right now is going to make it extremely tough to handle. And I think this might just be a stop micron moment for herO, because this is becoming unrealistic, as you can see. herO is going to lose the other Disruptor as well, so that's just, again, expenses that are hard to replace. 58 to 11 army supply, and ByuN is going to win out the day and get himself some prize money after he kind of fumbled yesterday, lost to Percival in the first round. Today, ByuN is going to be able to get through 2-0 and win the whole thing. Just kind of shows you how crazy one day to the next can be. GG's. ByuN is going to take 2-0. And that is going to be our tournament concluded.